Thanks for joining me for practice today. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And in the description is a link to my Patreon account if you want to offer a donation. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Move the flesh from your sit bones. Sit tall, rest the back of the hands on the knees, and close the eyes. And take a few moments just to settle into your seat. So one of the definitions of asana means to take a seat. Feel the sit bones connected to the earth, to gravity. And then feel a lift through the spine. So from the hips, start to lift up slightly through the navel. Sides of the waist lengthen. Heart begins to lift. Space in between the rib bones. As you feel the back of the skull lift, crown lifts, chin draws in slightly, and the shoulders stay relaxed. So in many ways, just tapping into this central channel, which we think of on its most gross level as the physical spine. And then allowing our breath to deepen that inner experience. So feel the breath come in through the nostrils and trace its natural pattern of filling the chest first, then the rib cage, then the belly. And feel it touch the pelvic floor, even if that's just the prana. On the exhalation, then lift the pelvic floor. Feel the navel draw in and up, helping to push the breath out. Rib cage closes, draws together, and then the breath leaves the chest and out through the nostrils. And repeat that again, inhaling in and down. And exhaling up and out. And you want to smooth out the breath, making it as smooth and even as possible. So inhale flows right into exhale, flows right into inhale without preference. So we're not preferring inhalation over exhalation or vice versa, but just creating a very stable breath. And if you haven't already, you can add in that ujjayi sound, the ocean wave or whisper type sound to the breath. And think of that as that deep resonant breath in the chest. And once we've established a steady rhythm, bring a little more of your concentration into the pelvic floor and navel center. So then on the inhalation, as the breath comes in and goes down, there's a softening of the pelvic floor. Think of a spreading open. And then on the exhalation, though, those pelvic floor muscles engage, and as they contract, they begin to lift up slightly, which then encourages the navel pulling in and up. So we're activating the deep abdominal muscles, and then the breath continues to move out the body. On the inhalation, then again, as you breathe in and down, when we get to the navel center, we begin the softening so that the breath can go all the way back down into the pelvic floor. Pelvic floor is soft, so we're filling that space. And then once again, there's a re-engagement. Pelvic floor muscles contract, navel pulls in and up, and we press the breath out. So even as we begin the next inhalation, the navel's still staying strong and stable up until we reach that point, and then we begin to soften it to let the breath in. And in this way, we begin to feel a lot of stability in our core and in the base of the body. And as you're breathing like this, just really begin to feel anchored within the self. And we often talk about the hub of the wheel. You know, the world is constantly spinning, constantly changing. And so we have to find that center point within our body. As we stay grounded and centered there, the movement can continue, but we always can return home when we need to. Last 2 breaths here, please. And as you complete the last exhalation, navel's drawing in and up, keeping that stable. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Bow your head to your hands. And we'll set the intention for the practice today to really create a feeling of being centered and grounded. So allowing that to occur here primarily in the navel center. And returning to this feeling of a home base, some place where we can find deep rest and complete and total acceptance. In the Yoga Sutras, Sutra 136, Patanjali talks about that in the heart there's a light that is beyond all sorrow. And it's this idea that within there is the kingdom of heaven. Within there is a place that we can be, no matter what the external circumstances are, where there is peace. And I seek to find it today through that contraction and stabilization of the navel center. So if there's anything that's asking you to ground or stabilize in your own life, some place you're trying to get anchored, or maybe already are anchored and you want to deepen, please bring that into your intention now. And then rest that intention in the heart, surrounding it with metta, loving kindness. We'll begin with the chant of Om 3 times, the Ah, O, starting at the base of the spine for the Ah portion, middle of the spine for the O, and the upper portion for the So please take a deep inhale in. And then a long exhale out, starting in that pelvic floor again. Good, another deep inhale in. Just lower the chin to the chest. Take your time to blink your eyes open back into the room. And if your sit bones were propped, you may want to move that prop out of the way so that the sit bones are flat. Hands on tops of the knees. Inhale, dip the heart forward. And exhale, pull the navel back towards the spine. Hold onto the knees and really make the spine concave. And do that again. Inhale, dip forward. Elbows point up to the sky. As you hold onto the knees, feel that contraction starting by lifting the pelvic floor and pulling the belly button back. And keep going. Inhaling, exhaling with your even breath. And again, notice there's almost like a hook on the belly button. You can pull it towards the spine. 3 more. Last one. And then sit nice and tall. If you need to move the flesh from the sit bones again, please do so. Inhale, both arms reach up. And exhale, navel in as you forward fold. So maintaining that long spine as long as you can, and then just soften here. Let the head and neck relax. Ground into the palms, push the weight back into the sit bones, lengthening the lower back, head and neck is relaxed. Shoulders soften away from the ears. Let gravity really take the body. Now, as you're breathing, and there's more of a contraction here just from the folding aspect of the posture, still feel the engagement of the pelvic floor and navel pulling in and up so that you actually feel the belly slightly pull away from the thighs on exhalation. And then move to the right side. Square your chest to your right thigh and forward fold here. Anchor your left sit bone down. There's a slight twist here to the spine. Head and neck is relaxed. Again, same thing. Feel the navel pull in and up. And again, you're softening that on inhalation. One more here. Feel the left side of the abdomen just hug a little closer to the right thigh. And then walk over to the other side and do the same thing. So square to the left thigh, press the right sit bone down, and breathe here. Again, same thing here. The right side of the abdomen hugs a little closer to the left thigh. This will help to square your chest just a bit more. Take the tension out of the shoulders. And then come back to center. From center, try to align the arms with the ears as best as possible. Push down into the hips and inhale the arms up. Exhale, bring the arms down by your side and just feel that tall, extended spine. Good. Right fingertips down. Inhale the left arm up. Walk the hand out. Or if you've got the flexibility, come down to the forearm. Make sure the left hip stays anchored. Press that away from the fingertips. Internally rotate the pinky finger down towards the floor, and then head of the shoulder stays deep into its socket. So there's stabilization of the shoulder, but the side body can continue to lengthen, especially as you anchor into that left hip. On your exhalations, as the pelvic floor lifts and the navel lifts, there's a little more room to twist to the left, leaning back with the chest. One more breath here. Feel the body. And then anchor into that right hand, lift up with the left, slowly come back up, and take a moment just to feel the difference between right side and left. And just creating some space. Left hand down, inhale the right arm up, elongate the right side body, and then walk it out. And then press into that hand, or if you've got the flexibility, bring the forearm to the floor. Right hip presses away from the fingertips. And as you extend through those ribs, turn that pinky finger down, draw the head of the shoulder into its socket. So traditionally here, gaze would be up at the inner arm, but if that bothers your neck, especially at the beginning, just keep the neck neutral. And make sure if the forearm's on the floor, or even with the hand on the floor, you're not bringing that shoulder up by your ear. 2 more breaths. Can you find a little more space? Again, don't force it, but let the breath seek it out. And then press into the earth with the left hand. Slowly come back up. And once again, just feel, letting the body equalize. Okay, so we're going to move into Kapalabhati, which is a cleansing technique. And we often think of it as a breathing technique, but it's actually technically a cleansing technique. So it's short, forceful exhales out through the nostrils by snapping the diaphragm back towards the spine. And as we do that snapping action, it just has that force that pushes the breath out. So you don't have to think about the inhale because the inhale is passive and will naturally come in. So forceful exhale to passive inhale, and it's a 1-to-1 there. We're going to start with the arms at a V shape, taking them out from the shoulders, thumbs in, fingers are going to wrap around. Bring a full breath in, chest, ribs, belly, and a full breath out, belly, ribs, chest. Shoulder blades stay down the back. Okay, one more deep inhale in, chest, ribs, belly. Now this time, 3/4 of the breath out and begin those short, forceful exhales out through the nostrils for 36 rounds. Slow it down. Inhale, now bring the fists above the head to touch. Exhale, take those fists into your core and forward fold over the legs as you empty of breath. Hold the breath out in the forward fold and now rotate the fists in circles, massaging the internal organs right there in the navel center. Breaking up stagnation. And as soon as you need to inhale, you come back up into seated. You don't want to press that. Just listen to the body and take a moment to find an inhale, exhale here. Just feel. Okay, again, arms at a V shape, thumbs in, fingers wrap around. Mushti Mudra, take a full breath in, chest, ribs, belly. Exhale 3/4 of the breath out. And short, forceful exhales out through the nostrils. Begin. Slow it down. Inhale, the hands touch overhead. Exhale, fists into the core, forward fold. As you let the breath out, hold the breath out in the forward fold. Now rotate. Rotate those wrists. So you have to do that on retention so that you have enough room to kind of get in there and explore. Feel some areas of sensitivity, move stuff around. When you need to inhale, come back up into a seated position. Inhale, exhale here. Each time we find just a little more warmth, a little more room in the belly. It gets a little easier. Okay, last round. Thumbs and fingers wrap around, full breath in. Exhale 3/4 and begin. Slow it down. Inhale, fist touch. Exhale, hands into core, fold. Hold the breath out, rotate the wrists. Inhale up whenever you need to. Sit tall and feel. You can close the eyes if you want to really take it in. All right, tabletop position. So feeling some warmth in the core, we're going to continue some stabilization there. So hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, tops of the feet pressed down. Inhale, lift the heart, lift the sit bones, look up. As you exhale, pull the navel towards the back body, draw the hips towards the heels, come into child's pose. Inhale, stand on the knees, bring the arms up and over the head, lift and lengthen through the core. Then exhale, take the hands to the sacrum and bring the forehead to the floor. Inhale the arms out wide as you lift and rise, standing on the knees again. And then exhale, navel to spine, child's pose as you come down. Good. Inhale, tabletop position, heart lift, sit bones lift. Really think of pulling the pelvic floor up and navel up and back as you move into child's pose. Inhale, arms in alignment with the ears, stand on the knees. Exhale, hands to the sacrum, forehead to the floor. Core is strong and stable here. Inhale, arms out wide as you stand on the knees again, lift and rise. And exhale, try to maintain that long, straight spine as long as you can, child's pose. Again, inhale, last one. Exhale, hook the navel towards the spine as you move back. Inhale, stand on the knees. Exhale, navel in as you come to child's pose with the hands behind you. Inhale, reach up again. Stand on the knees. And exhale, bow down to child's pose. Rest here for a breath. Inhale, back to tabletop position. Heart lift, sit bones lift. Now, tuck the toes, lift the sit bones up and back for downward facing dog. And just take a few moments to find your down dog. So feet hip distance apart. You can bend one knee and press the other heel down. And bend the other knee and press the other heel down. And just move back and forth through the legs a little bit. So any wiggles that you need to do, maybe shift through the hips, maybe roll through the shoulders, just to find a comfortable downward facing dog. And then we'll have the feet hip distance apart, toes turned in slightly, heels out. Roll the inner thighs in and back. Lift the sit bones up. Keep lengthening the waist, letting the chest soften. And then roll your shoulder heads away from the ear. So you're squeezing the upper arms toward one another. Head and neck is relaxed here. Keep pressing deeply into the hands and feet. Now, this inversion is a slight inversion here for the spine. So this will allow gravity to pull the pelvic floor and navel in and up. But you can deepen that with a conscious engagement on exhalation. One more breath here. Good, and then bring the knees to the floor. This time, bring the elbows down into the mat. Wrap your hands around the middle part of the arms. Then interlace your fingers and press your forearms down, or spread your palms wide with your forearms parallel. Tuck your back toes under and come into dolphin variation of down dog. So forearm down dog, maybe a little deeper for some people. But what we're going to do here is some of those dolphin push-ups. You can wiggle your toes back a few inches. As you exhale, take your chest over your forearms, tailbone under, lower belly lifts, and then inhale, reach back up. And exhale, chest over forearms, tailbone under, lower belly lifts. Inhale, back up. So using that core strength, building a little more stability here as you move in and out of the posture. If this becomes too much for you, you're welcome to either stay in dolphin or go to down dog. Of course, you can always rest in child's pose. Now, as you're moving in and out, make sure that you feel those deep abdominal muscles, that transverse abdominis. So it's like the corset muscle, they call it. So it's pulling those transverse fibers, it's kind of like horizontal fibers, in a little closer towards the midline of the body. Creating a deep stability there, particularly in the lower core. Two more here. And after the last one, you'll come into child's pose. So bring knees to floor, sit bones to heels, and rest. And sometimes after dolphin, I like to do embryo, just to bring the hands by the heels, round the upper back. We'll soften here. Let the heat melt away the tension. Good. Arms forward again. Come back up into tabletop, tuck the toes, sit bones up and back for downward facing dog. And then from on down dog, come onto the balls of your feet. Bend your knees, look at your hands, step or lightly hop your feet forward to your fingertips. So feet hip distance apart. Inhale, hands on the shins, push the chest away from the thighs. So create length and then exhale and fold. And we're going to repeat that again, in and out of monkey. So inhale, on the shins, push away. Now see how much you can use your spine and lighten the load on the hands. And then exhale and melt. Now if you're a little more flexible, you can hook index, middle thumb around your big toe and do this. Inhale, pull away, create the length, shoulder blades down your back. Exhale, fold. Inhale away, elongate, and really as you exhale, it's that lifting of pelvic floor and navel, which takes the belly out of the way, creating a little more room. 2 more, please. Good. On the last one, we're going to stay. So you either have your hands on your shins, which you can just wrap the hands around the back to the calf and hug the chest close to the thigh, or you can keep that bind of the index, middle thumb around the big toe. What we want to do is feel the weight come forward just slightly in the balls of the feet so the hips lift as high as you can. And of course, if you need a micro bend in the knee, please take one. Taking pressure off the lower back. Now, let gravity do some of its work here. So feel the heaviness of the head. I remember learning once that the head is like the weight of a bowling ball, so somewhere around 14, 15 pounds. So you're going to let that gravity just kind of take that, creating elongation for the back of the neck. And moving up into the spine as you let go and soften. As the hips lift, you get that traction. Keep breathing. So following the pattern that we started with. In through the nostrils, down into the pelvic floor, soft to receive the inhalation. And on the exhalation, we're engaging that and then the navel in and up to help push the breath back out. Last one. Good. Release the bind of the hands on the feet. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Take your knuckles up and away from you to stretch out your shoulders just for a moment here. Pull the shoulder heads away from the ears. Squeeze the shoulder blades. And so many of us carry so much tension there in the back of the heart. So just release that for a moment. And then anchoring into the feet, keep pulling the knuckles back. Flatten the spine and slowly come up to standing. And then as you get to the top, lift your chin for a moment. Open up that front line. And then just release it all and come into standing mountain pose. And just rest here. Use this as an opportunity to soak in the information that we've just received from all those postures. Last breath here. Okay, at the front of your mat, we're going to do a variation sun salutation. Big toes touching, space between the heels, hands together in front of the heart, or feet hip distance apart. Inhale, the arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold navel to spine. Step the right leg back, lower the knee down, top of the foot. Inhale up for low lunge. Keep the palms together today. And then exhale, step back to downward facing dog. So right foot's going to come forward to the fingertips. Spin the back foot flat for warrior one. Heel to heel alignment. Front knee bent. Arms reach over the head. Again, palms together if you can. And then exhale, step back to plank position. This time we're going to bring knees to floor. Squeeze the elbows tight into the side, modified chaturanga, tops of the feet ground. Inhale, cobra, elbows and shoulders pull back. Exhale, navel up and back, downward facing dog. Right leg steps forward, lower the left knee to the floor. Inhale up for low lunge. If it's too uncomfortable for your shoulders to have hands together, open them to shoulder distance apart. Exhale, step the back foot forward. We're going to modify here with an interlacing of the fingers for yoga mudra. Bend your knees, scoop through chair now. Come forward and up. Into a slight back bend, and exhale, hands to heart. That's one side. Let's do the other. Inhale, the arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold. This time, left leg goes back. Inhale, low lunge. And exhale, step back to down dog. Left leg steps through. Spin the back foot flat. Warrior one. Hips stay squared to the front. Exhale. This time, plank position. Again, first round, let's lower the knees, squeeze the elbows tight, tops of the feet ground. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Left leg forward, right knee to floor. Inhale up for low lunge. And exhale, step forward, interlace, yoga mudra. Bend and scoop through, all the way into that slight back bend. Exhale, hands to heart. Again, right side, inhale. Arms reach up, exhale, fold. Right leg back, low lunge. Inhale as the arms reach. Exhale, down dog. Right leg through, warrior one. Inhale. Exhale, plank position. This time, if you want to leave the knees lifted, chaturanga. Inhale, then you roll over the toes for up dog. And exhale to downward facing dog. Right leg forward. Inhale, low lunge. And exhale, step forward and add yoga mudra. Bend and scoop, come through, full breath in, navel in and up. And exhale, hands to heart. Left side, inhale. Exhale, fold. Left leg back, inhale, low lunge. Exhale, down dog. Left leg through for warrior one on this side. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, plank position. Try keeping those knees lifted now, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale to down dog. Left leg through, right knee down. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, step forward. Add yoga mudra. Bend and scoop, come through, full breath in. Exhale, hands to heart. One more. Inhale, arms reach your way. Exhale, fold. Right leg back, low lunge. Inhale. Exhale, down dog. Right leg through. Warrior one. Inhale. Exhale, plank position. Chaturanga your way. So whatever way serves your practice today. Meeting down dog. And then the right leg comes through again. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, interlace. Bend and scoop, come through. Slight back bend. Exhale, heart. Last time, left side. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Left leg back, low lunge. Inhale. Exhale, down dog. Left leg forward for warrior one. Inhale. And exhale, plank. Vinyasa your way, please. Then the left leg forward. Right knee down, inhale, low lunge. Exhale, step forward. Add yoga mudra. Bend and scoop, come through. Full breath in. Exhale to the heart. And really feel the stimulation of the fire in the navel. So generating some internal heat. And sometimes it takes a moment or two just for the breath to settle. Keep directing all that prana that you feel in towards your center. Last one. Okay, so we're going to come into chair pose. If you would like or find it to be supportive to use a block, you can put the block between your inner thighs. And I just find that somehow that activates my legs a little bit better, even though I could do it without the block. So if you have the prop available, you might want to try it today. Inhale, the arms reach up. And now exhale, sink into chair. Inhale, lift the heart just a little higher. Open up into the back bend. Now exhale, fold over the bent knees. And then inhale the arms behind you like wings. Exhale, bring the arms through. And so inhale as you lean back to chair. The knees stay bent the whole time. Exhale, navel contracts. Inhale the arms behind you like wings. Exhale, it's just the arms that come through. And then inhale, lean back to chair. Repeat it again. Exhale. Inhale, arms like wings. Exhale. Inhale, lean back. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lean back. 2 more on your own, please. Navel in. On the last one, you're going to straighten your legs and exhale. Bring your arms down by your side, Samasthiti. You can leave the block there for a moment. Just take in that warmth again. Fire's generated. It's like we've just added some more fuel there. We're going to build upon that heat. So you may want to have a block handy nearby, somewhere around like just slightly below the front of your mat. Inhale, hands to the hips. Exhale, step your left leg back. So you want to have your hips remaining square here. Push into the ball of the front foot, press to the back heel, and those back toes are pointing towards the upper left corner of the mat. Now, if you're comfortable, you can keep the hands on the hips, or you can reach back, grabbing either elbow, or bring your hands into prayer position at the nape of the back. Inhale, the heart lifts up. And now exhale, lengthen forward. We're just going to come halfway. So if you need a little micro bend as you come down, please take it. Right hip pulls back, left hip comes around. Inhale, flat back as you come back up. Slight back bend here. Repeat. Exhale, halfway. Inhale, back up. Exhale, halfway. And inhale up. Now this time we're going to go all the way down. So create as much length in the front body as you inhale. And now keep lengthening the crown of the head towards the front. So extend, extend, extend as much as you can over that leg. And now we're going to stay. So look back between the legs for a moment so you get all that softening of the spine. And then take your gaze forward to the big toe. Keep the shoulders pulling away from the ears. Breathe here. Squeeze those inner thighs. Now, if you are feeling that the balance is really challenging you and you have those blocks nearby, you can always place your hands on the blocks. Breathe here. And then press into the feet, squeeze the inner thighs, and inhale all the way back up. Release the hands for a moment. This time we're just going to bring the right hand to the sacrum. Inhale the left arm long. So create as much length along that left side body as possible. Now again, we're going to come all the way down to halfway. And now with all that length, take your hand to the outside of the right foot. If it's too much, bring it underneath your shoulder. You can have it on the floor, you can have it on the block. Right hand on the sacrum spins flat. Navel pulls towards the back body. Rotate the navel to the right. And then reach the right arm up in the air. Press your back heel away from your crown of your head. Now, to me, there's nothing stronger than this pose for the navel center. When I'm in this posture, I really have to stabilize. Keep breathing. Exhale, lifts pelvic floor, navel in and up. Squeeze those inner thighs. Two more Ujjayi breaths. And then press into the feet, release the hands, hands to hips, scoop the heart, come up, and just come right back to standing. And now take in the information on that right side. Take a deep breath. Maybe you need a releasing breath, a sigh through the mouth. The reason we find these poses so challenging is because these are areas our bodies have become weak from our lifestyle. We'll step back with the right foot, so hands to hips. Step the right foot back this time. It's only about 2.5, 3 feet, so it's just a natural stepping back. Hips are squared forward, so we want to be nice and stable. Push that front foot forward. Press to the heel of the back foot. Those toes are angled in. Again, you can choose You can just have your hands on your hips. You can reach for the elbows, or you can do that reverse namaste prayer, hands at the back of the spine. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale, halfway. Push the ball of the foot away from the back heel. Keep the head, neck, torso, tailbone in a straight line. Inhale, anchor into the feet and come up. So you can really use the breath as you're moving. Exhale as you're lifting pelvic floor and navel to push the breath out. It helps to stabilize you. And then inhale as you're filling with breath. Use some of that prana, that lightness that's coming in to lift up. One more here like this. Exhale. Inhale. And now this time we're going to go all the way down. So again, think of lengthening, like someone's pulling the crown of the head towards the front wall. Navel's in, and just come to your capacity. Wherever you land, that's fine. Squeeze those inner thighs toward the midline, head and neck releases. Look between the legs for a moment so you really soften into the forward fold. And then take your gaze forward and look at the big toe. This should also help to stabilize balance. Breathe here. Concentrate on that pelvic floor, navel lifting on exhalation. Softening on inhalation. Two more. Now push into the feet. Inhale the back flat. Come all the way back up. Release the hands and just take a moment. Okay, now the left hand's going to go to the sacrum. Inhale the right arm up. Full breath in. Feel that elongation of the right side of the body. And then again, you're going to pull, pull, pull to halfway. So you want to think of extending the spine. Now here again, the hand can go under the shoulder on the floor or block, or to the outside of the foot on the floor or block. Spin the left foot hand flat so that it's pressing into the sacrum. And now rotate the navel to the left. And then take the left arm up if it's comfortable. You can always keep the hand on the sacrum. And we want to think of extending the spine. So how much length can you get through the spine before deepening the rotation? And then as you pull the pelvic floor in and navel in, this will help to naturally allow the twist to deepen. Ujjayi breathing. Two more. And then fold over that front leg. Just release for a moment. Bring your hands to your hips. Scoop your heart. Come up. And once again, we're stepping forward. And just feel. Just take a moment in Samastiti. All that challenging stabilization. Let's move that through with a vinyasa. So either big toes touching, space between the heels, or feet hip distance apart. Inhale, the arms reach up. And exhale, forward fold, navel to spine. Inhale, monkey pose. Hands on shin or floor, flat back. Exhale, step, or lightly hop back to plank position. Chaturanga your way, knees lowered or lifted. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale to down dog. We'll take 5 full breaths here. So if you can remember some of those alignment principles, especially squeezing those upper arms in to widen the upper back. Let gravity do its work in the pelvic floor and navel. One more here. Now, can you bring your feet together and lift the left leg up in the air? Exhale the right heel down. Lift the left leg as high as you can, so you're creating as much space as possible, and then swing that leg all the way through to the fingertips. So try to get it all the way up there. Heel to arch alignment. Come up through warrior one. Open hip and shoulder to the right for warrior two. So this stance is much wider than where we were before. And you're pushing into the ball of the front foot, pressing to the outside edge of the back foot. You want to make sure that this front knee is in alignment with the ankle and not beyond it. Also that it's moving more towards the pinky toe side of your foot than collapsing on the inside. We don't want to have that inner groin collapsing. Inhale the arms long here. Exhale the left forearm down, right arm up and over the head, and we're just gonna stay here in extended side angle. So I really love this first version because I feel like it gives you the ability to fully breathe, and then you can play in those hips a little more. So if you want to go a little deeper, bend into the knee just a little more, anchor to the outside edge of the back foot. Each time you exhale, navel pulls in, you can rotate a little deeper to the right. There's plenty of room when the forearm is down. And then make sure we're not hunching into that forearm or that shoulder. We're keeping space between the lower shoulder and the ear. And just like before, pinky finger rotates down, head of the shoulder anchors into its socket. A couple more breaths here, please. Last one. Now we'll reach the right arm up, come back up, straighten that left leg, backhand to thigh. Just reverse triangle here for a moment. We're gonna make all that space on the left side of the body and then lean forward, lengthen, 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 pull like someone's pulling your arm. Create as much room as possible. And then hand to shin, ankle, foot, floor, or if you wanna hook the index, middle thumb around the big toe. Oh, this is a long triangle, so keep a little bit of a micro bend in your front knee. And then because the stance is so long, if you feel like you want to bind here, there might be some room. So you can take the left arm underneath the leg, right hand comes around, fingertips grab, you bind and rotate to the right. These are all options for you. So I would always suggest stick with the one that feels the best in your body today. Which one can you breathe in? 2 more breaths. And then bring the right fingertips to the floor, pivot on the ball of the back foot, and sweep the left leg all the way up in the air. Open the hip for a moment. Exhale, down dog. Stabilize with a breath here. Other side, feet together. Balls of your feet reach the right leg up in the air. Exhale the left heel down. Inhale that right leg as high as you can. You're stacking the hip, you're opening up, and then square it, bring it through, and lunge it all the way through the fingertips, spin the back foot flat. So it's a nice long stance. Heel to arch alignment, come up through warrior one, open hip and shoulder, warrior two. Good, inhale long here. Exhale, forearm down, bend into that knee, press to the outside edge of the back foot, and if you want, gazes here up at the inner arm. As long as it doesn't bother the neck, otherwise keep it neutral. And now play in that pelvic floor. So we've been working with it with our breath. So on the inhale, as the breath goes in and it softens, maybe you can go a little deeper. On the exhale, feel the pelvic floor lift. So we're not just sinking into the joints, but we're lifting up out of them. There's buoyancy there, what we sometimes call inner body lift. Keep that bottom shoulder away from the ear. One more. Playing in it. Now, come up with the left hand. We're going to reverse that for just a moment. Straighten the leg, give it a break. And then that right arm lengthens full, like someone's pulling your arm in front of you. And then hand to shin, ankle, foot, floor. You want to hook the index, middle thumb around the big toe, you can do that. Since it is a long triangle, you can keep that micro bend in the front knee. Arms and shoulders are stacked here. Fingers are together in the top hand. Navel pulls in and back and rotates to the left. Again, because you have more room here, you may want to try that bind. Right hand goes under the leg. Left hand comes around to grab. And then you got to lean back with the chest again. Keep that in your practice. Stay with the posture. You can challenge you, but you got to breathe. Two more. And then fingertips come down. Pivot on the ball of the back foot and slide that right leg all the way up in the air. Open the hip. Feel that sweet release. And then downward facing dog. Take a few breaths. Let the prana settle. Inhale, plank position. Knees lowered or lifted, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. All right, feet together, balls of your feet. Extend your right leg up in the air. Exhale the left heel down. Inhale the right as high as you can, and now swing this all the way through to the fingertips. So we've got a couple options here. You can stay in a high lunge position with the feet. So that means front foot straight, you're on the ball of the back foot, toes are pointing forward. Or you can come back into a warrior two position, which has a little bit more of an angle in that back foot than a traditional warrior two. So if you're putting the foot flat, we're gonna inhale, the arms reach up, or either way, high lunge or this position. And then bring the right hand down to the thigh. Inhale the left as high as you can, and now bring that elbow, set it on top of the knee or on top of the thigh, and twist. So fist with the bottom hand, cup with the top, or hands in prayer. Again, you can do this whole practice on the ball of the back foot if that bothers your knee to have the foot flat. So you just decide what's best for your body. Pull the right hip back, bring the left hip around, particularly if you're in the twisting side angle pose. Now, navel hugs in. Find more room to rotate. One more here. Good, fingertips to the floor. If you haven't pivoted on the ball of the back foot yet, do that now. Take your block if you need it, 6 to 10 inches in front of your pinky toe. Weight goes into the right foot. Lift the left leg up in the air. Come into half moon two. So stack left over right and just feel that sweet release. We were so tight. Everything was bound up and contracted there. Now just feel all that space. Extend the left leg as high as you can. Flex through the heel of the foot. Stay anchored in your supporting leg. Navel hugs in. You can take your gaze to the sidewall if you feel comfortable. Stack the shoulders. 2 more. And then left foot meets right. Standing forward fold. Melt over those legs. Use that heat. Just settle. Remember to let that head and neck be heavy. That's traction for the spine. And lean into the balls of the feet a little bit. As you pull the navel in and back on exhalation, you can feel the bellies slightly pulling away from the thighs. Good. Inhale, the arms reach up. Flat back as you lift. Slight back bend. Exhale, hands to heart. Good. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway to monkey pose. Hands on shin or floor, flat back. Exhale, step or hop back to downward facing dog. Gonna do the other side, so bring your feet together, come onto the balls of the feet. Lift the left leg up in the air this time. Exhale the right heel down. Inhale the left as high as you can, and exhale, swing that through. Again, we have this nice long stance, and you can keep the fingers in a finger stand and stay in high lunge position. It's one way to do this next twisting pose. Otherwise, you can spin that right foot flat. Inhale, the arms reach up. Exhale the left hand to the thigh. Inhale the right arm as long as you can. And now bring that over. Set the right elbow on top of the thigh. Fist with the bottom hand, cup with the top, or hands in prayer. Again, remember, if your knee bothers you, you're going to stay on the ball of the back foot. You don't want to press it until the space is there to do the pose safely. If you got that foot flat, it's a very deep twist. Bring the left hip back, right hip around. Keep rotating. Awareness in the navel center. Last 2. Good, fingertips to the floor. If you haven't already pivoted on the ball of the back foot, take the block 6 to 10 inches in front of the left pinky toe, or you can just keep your hand on the floor. Push the weight forward into that left foot. Stack the right hip on top of the left and come into your half moon 2. As you anchor down, lift as high as you can through that back leg. It should feel really nice to have this space after that contraction, that deep core work. Breathe here. Last two. And then forward fold, step right foot to meet left. Just soften for a moment. Again, feel the traction, melt into the heat. Lean forward in the balls of the feet just a little more. Feel the pelvic floor and navel lift on exhalation. Inhale, arms reach out wide as you lift and rise. And exhale, arms to your side or hands to your heart, and rest. Just rest. Well, these standing postures create strength for the body, stability. They generate the heat that we can use when we go to the floor. Good. One more breath here. Okay, big toes touching, space between the heels, hands together in front of the heart. Inhale, the arms reach up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway to monkey pose, hands on shin or floor, flat back. And exhale, step or lightly hop back to plank position. Chaturanga your way. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. One more breath here. Good. Lunge your left knee towards your left wrist and bring the right toes down for pigeon. Now, you want to take the time to set this posture up. So if your hip does not touch the floor, but you have a bolster or a blanket nearby, you're going to want to use that today. So make sure that you feel that that left hip is really grounded in one way or another. In your back foot, tuck the toes under and lift the knee. So this helps the hips just to fall into place. So we're going to stay upright for a few moments here. Fingers in a finger stand, and of course, if you need blocks to bring the floor up to you, you can certainly use those instead. On your inhale, you're going to lift the chest as high as you can, and exhale, soften the shoulders. So gaze can be up at the heavens. Inhale, lift. Just don't collapse the back of the neck. And exhale, soften. So even though we call it back bending, it's really front body lengthening. So as you inhale, feel the whole front body lengthening. And exhale, soften. And you can continue to stay here in this posture if you'd like, or you can bend the back knee and just bring that heel towards the hip, rotating the navel just slightly to the right. A couple more breaths here. Stay anchored. This is why that left hip really needs to have some grounding underneath it. And some of you might be flexible enough that you can actually slide those toes up towards the armpit crease. I'm sorry, the elbow crease. Good. Last two here. And then gently release the foot back down. We're going to bring the hands to plant underneath the shoulders. Tuck the right toes under and slide the left leg up in the air. Stretching it out, find downward facing dog again. And if your blanket was left on your mat, you can just move it over to the side. Okay, we'll do the other side now. So this time we're going to lunge the right knee towards the right wrist. And again, you're going to want to take the time to set this posture up properly. So if that hip doesn't come down all the way, or you just even feel like you want a little extra support there, bring the blanket underneath. Tuck your back toes under, straighten the legs so the hips fall into place, and then lower the knee down. You can either keep the toes tucked or bring the top of the foot flat. Hands underneath the shoulders, on the floor or on your blocks. Sometimes it's nice to have the blocks just for a little more height. Inhale, lengthen the front body. Exhale, soften the back body. Keep drawing the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, sternum lifts. Exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades down the back. Don't collapse the neck, but keep the gaze up. Inhale, feel length along that front body, front line. Exhale. Good, now you can either stay in that position, or if you want, you can bend the back knee and draw the heel toward the hip. Navel will now rotate slightly to the left. This is just a little bit of a twist here. Breathe deeply. Feel the space in the shoulder. Deep stretch for the front of the thigh. If you've got that flexibility, you can kind of slide those toes into the crease of the elbow. Breathe here. And last breath. Release the foot. Take the time to unwind. Plant the hands under the shoulders. Tuck the back toes under and slide that right leg all the way up in the air. Just let it drain. The blood just drains out. And then downward facing dog. One more breath in down dog. And bring the knees to the floor. And just sit tall on your heels. Just rest your hands in your lap. So Vajrasana, tailbone absorbs in, lower belly lifts. Feel that extended spine. Peace in the mind. One more breath here. Good, bring your hips to one side and extend your legs forward. Internally rotate your thighs so you're moving the flesh out of the way and come into Dandasana staff pose. So feet are flexed, hands press into the earth. Ground and anchor here. Chin is in slightly, back of the neck is long. And even though it looks like you're not doing anything, this posture has everything activated. And it teaches us about that pelvic floor lift and core lift, because to maintain that long, straight spine, you really have to activate those inner locks, the bandhas. 2 more breaths here. Keep pressing into the hands, keep flexing through the feet. Quads are strong. Good. Marichiasana C. So bend your right knee and bring your foot right to the inner thigh. Okay, so to get into Marichiasana C, we can rotate the navel to the right and either wrap the arm around the leg, take the right hand behind you, and sometimes you have to clear the belly out of the way, and then rotate that way. Or if you have the flexibility, you can take the elbow to the outside of the knee, and sometimes it's nice just to open the arm up. So whichever one's going to give you the most space in the chest, that's the posture you want to be in. And now inhale, grow as tall as you can, and exhale, keep squeezing the navel open to the right. And again, here too, you can play with it with your breath. So as you feel pelvic floor and core lifting on exhalation, it often takes the belly in and gives you just a little more room to rotate. And the chest really opens. One more here. Good, and then gently unwind. Hold the shin bone for a moment, sit tall. And then extend the leg. If you need to move the flesh again, please do so, and find that neutral position, Dandasana staff pose. Okay, Marichiyasana C on this side, left side. So left foot comes in, knee bends, and you're bringing that foot close to the right inner thigh. And then inhale the right arm up, and your choice is either to wrap the arm around the leg. Again, sometimes you got to take the belly out of the way to rotate, or if you're deep enough in the rotation, arm or elbow to the outside of the thigh, arm can stay long, and you're rotating from there. Again, the idea is you want to find the posture that you're in to be the one that allows for the full and complete breath. Keep lifting pelvic floor, navel in and up. Gazing behind you, so you're rotating the full spine all the way up into the neck. Remember, these seated twists are the deepest twists we can do. I know the other ones sometimes feel strong because of the effort of standing, but when your hips are fixed, it requires that the spine really twists deeply because there's no wiggle room for those hips to accommodate. So as much as we want to challenge this to a certain extent, making sure that we have a deep, complete breath is going to make sure that we have safety. Last breath here. And then you can unwind. And again, you're just going to hold that shin bone. So lift as tall as you can through the spine. And then straighten the leg. Again, internal rotation of the thighs. Making sure that as you sit down, you feel that inner rotation and everything is strong and straight. Okay, so this next one I'm going to give a couple options. So we're going to start here with Navasana boat pose. So you lean back and you can start with your hands underneath your knees if you prefer, reaching out through the balls of the feet and spreading the toes. You can hold on the backs of the knees and straighten the legs and encourage your body here to really try to lighten the work of the hands using more of the core, or you can extend the arms and just use the core strength entirely. So I'm going to take 3 more breaths here. Good. Bring your knees down, lean your chest forward, and just hug your knees into your chest for a moment, giving yourself a little bit of a break, but flat spine. Take a full inhale, full exhale. And now we can repeat that same thing, but if you have the flexibility, you can either hook the index middle thumb around the big toe or hold to the outside edges of the feet, and once again, you'll this time straighten the legs. Point the toes. Lift the chest up and look up at the ceiling. Otherwise, repeating the same thing we just did with Navasana boat pose. Breathe here. Steady the core. Pelvic floor, navel pulling in and up, really anchoring into that stability. And then again, we'll lower. Wrap the arms around the legs if you'd like, or just hold underneath the knees. Rest here for a moment. And now this last one, 2 options. So you can always repeat Navasana boat pose. This time, if you'd like, you can hold the index middle thumb around your big toe, straighten your legs, and then widen your feet. You want to bend the elbows and draw the chest towards the thighs. Now you're welcome to just stay in this posture. It works the core. Again, remember those corset muscles in the lower abdomen, or you can roll back into this posture with. So you're on the shoulders, the feet are wide, you're holding the toes, lifting the tailbone high. Again, here too, gravity takes that navel, pelvic floor in and up. 2 more breaths. Now, to come out of it, you can roll back up into that challenging seated position. So see if you can find the core strength. Come back up. Boop. And stick it and hold it and squeeze the chest towards the thighs. Bend the elbows. And gently bring the feet together. Wrap the arms around the knees. This time, let your forehead come down and rest. One more here. Very nice. We're going to come onto our backs. Hold the shin bones, concave the spine. Hug the knees into your chest. And just rock a little bit from side to side. Just releasing any of the gripping. I know those core exercises are so challenging for us. We tend to grip even when we're trying not to. Now we're going to come into Matsyasana fish pose for a moment just to release the spine, particularly if you did that variation where you went onto your back. So thumbs underneath the hips, extend the legs long, reach out through the balls of the feet, spread the toes, press into the forearm, and just let the crown of the head come into the mat. Puff up the chest. Now, if you're feeling super strong in your core today, try lifting your legs. Breathing here. Keep the heart lifted. Don't gather tension in the neck or face. Again, here's that expression of those deep core muscles. And then bring the legs down, lift the chest high, release the head, and just soften onto your back. Take a moment here to really settle in. Shoulder blades underneath you, palms face up. Legs are just a little bit wider than hip distance apart. And I just feel everything settle. Belly expands and contracts. Letting go of the breathing pattern we were working with throughout the practice. Just finding a peaceful breath now. I like to think of like when babies are sleeping, their bellies just rise and fall. Good. One more breath here. And then bend your knees. Bring your knees into your chest and just rock a little bit from side to side on the spine again. Good. So we're going to extend the legs straight up in the air, Supta Dandasana. And then as you exhale, bring your hands down, knees to chest, and hug your knees in. So inhale, arms by your side, flex your feet, Supta Dandasana, soles of the feet face the ceiling. Exhale, bend the knees, bring the hands to the knees, and hug them into your chest. Good. Keep going. Inhaling. Exhaling. A lot of work there today, just releasing the back body. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. And last one. Good. Holding on to the shin bones, so each hand grabs a shin. You're going to push the right shin away, twist your neck so that the left cheek comes into the mat, and use this shin to really open up that right shoulder. And then come back to center, back to neutral. You're holding onto the left shin now. Push the left shin forward. Twist your head so that your right cheek comes into the mat, and let the shin really pull the shoulder open. And we'll repeat that again. So it's almost like a little machine I think of here. One knee goes forward, one knee goes back, head twists to the left, getting all that space in the shoulder and neck, and then switch sides. And after the work of the core, again, like I said, sometimes we contract. A lot of times we try with the neck and upper back to do the work, get really tight there. So this is a really nice release. Just a couple more. Good. So Last one. One more with the cheek going to the left and one more with the cheek going to the right. Good. And then when you come back to neutral, bring the soles of the feet together, Supta Baddha Konasana, wrap the hands around the feet and draw the heels towards the glutes. If your elbows happen to touch the calves, you can press the calves open a little bit. I'm feeling all that space there in the spine. Try to get the tailbone to lengthen from the crown with the head so there's room in the vertebrae. And then maintain that length of the spine, hold the outside edges of the feet, and open the feet up wide for happy baby. And truly let the arms, the weight of the arms, do the stretching. Gravity just takes them. We did a lot of pelvic floor work today, so let that go now and really just feel spaciousness, blood flow, healing in this area of the body. Good. And then come back to center and prepare for Shavasana. So if you are in a cooler room, socks, sweaters, anything you need to kind of maintain some of that internal heat that we built. And once you come onto your back, if you are in a lighted room and you happen to have an eye pillow, place the eye pillow on the eyes to block out the light. Remember that light is a stimulant for the mind. And here in Shavasana, we want to let the mind just completely settle. So again, legs a little wider than hip distance apart, toes turn out. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath you and let your palms face up. Maintain that open heart that we've created. And sometimes it takes a few moments, a few wiggles just to get settled into the right position. And then once you do, be still. Allow yourself this time of rest. The integration of all the work that you put into the practice, and the changing of patterns in the body and breath, which really helps to change the patterns of mind. It frees us from our conditioning. So very slowly begin to deepen your breath. Take your time to come back. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. You can roll wrists and ankles. And without rushing, gently draw your knees to your chest and curl to your right side into fetal position. Arm under the head as a pillow. And placing the hand into the earth, slowly come back up into seated. Head and neck heavy, eyes closed as you come up. If you want to prop yourself up on a sit bolster or a blanket, please do so. Just sit with a tall spine, relaxed body. Place one hand on the navel and the other hand just below. Take a moment to soak in some of the warmth from the palms into the navel center. Pulling in that prana, enlivening this area of the body. And underneath your hands, feel how the inhalation expands the belly into the hands. And the exhalation gently pulls it away. Again, we don't have to have a lot of effort there. Just notice this natural process of belly breathing. And in the center of this navel, visualize a beautiful lotus flower. See this lotus flower as if its petals were pointing outward towards your hands, so that it has what we would call a flowering open to the front. Inside the center of this lotus flower, visualize an upward pointing triangle. See it surrounded in golden light. And let the light from this lotus flower reach outward through the body, so that that golden light fills from the center through all the layers and tissues that surround it, even to the crown of the head and to the tips of the toes. Experience it as healing light. One more breath here, really letting it do its work. And then take a moment just to offer some gratitude to the primordial force that resides in the abdomen, in the navel center. The primordial force of healing and nourishment. Sometimes we call this Rudra. Rudra. And then lower your chin to your chest. Release your hands. Bring them to the heart and to prayer, and just go back to the intention that you set. And trust that we received what we can receive from this practice today, and let the rest go. And then let's seal this with the chant of Om, a deep resonant Om. Really embodying the potential and prana that was unlocked from the practice. Deep inhale in. Long exhale out. Emptying the lungs completely so that you can fill them completely. Deep inhale in. Namaste.